Hey everybody, it's Lewis Porter Jr. It is Tuesday, Tuesday, June the 14th, in a lovely area of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Plantation specifically. It is a nice, relaxing day. The sun is shining, there's clouds in the sky. It's not burning hot, it's actually kind of nice. That's because I think the sun's behind a cloud. I think the second it pops up, it's gonna be like a laser burning me down, but hey, that's cool. Oh, so I want to apologize everybody for yesterday's late video. Still appreciative of everybody who actually turned into it. I know that was extremely late. Once again, things pop up, and so we can't always get what we want when we want them. So sorry about that. It happens sometimes. It is what it is. That's all I can say about that. So today, what are the topic we're going to? So I thought we'd start with a really spicy topic since we've had, such bad news over the weekend, and we've had such controversy about topics of lately. I decided let's go with another cool topic, slightly controversial but kind of interesting, give you a different perspective on things. So this one came. I actually planned to do this one last week, but never got around to it. But so many things just kept popping up, so I decided let's talk about it today. It's a nice day to do that. Hey, what's going on, Jeff? Jeff Lee, who I know is working on probably something interesting for somebody. I'm guessing that him and Clinton has a cool idea. They're kicking around together. That's what happens. You get a lot of cool guys working together. You always want to know what they're working on. That's always a good way to get motivated if you don't really know about that. If you're a fan of the series or this is your first time checking it out, think about looking to see who is actually in the thread, looking at this and see, wonder what they're doing, because that always gets you inspired for stuff. So today we're talking about Blerds and Women. If you don't know what a blerd is, that's a black nerd. I qualify that 110%. So just talking about those effects on, I guess you say, gaming and on comics. And both of them are pretty substantial. Back to yes, I will go and see if I can poke Boomer to talk to you, Jeff. But I'm sure Boomer's doing some crazy stuff. I mean, the whole baby thing and all that, and just this crazy work he's doing. So there you go. So I guess as of late, I've noticed there's been kind of I don't know if backlash is the right word, but there's been definitely some murmurs and stuff about people and characters, and definitely color issues and women, and I'm talking, I guess, initially from the comic perspective, since I guess for comics it's such a big thing. There's been a lot of feedback and pushback about characters and what people want to see and stuff like that, and it's just very interesting to me that people get upset about that kind of stuff. I mean, I think, well, okay, this also, okay, here's some marketing too. I think the biggest problem that happens in comics is they fall into what they call line differential. Basically, you take a product like anything. I know pizza. You take pizza and then you extend it all the way down the line to all different things it can be. And it basically is a variation of a variation of a variation. And that's a good way to help destroy your company, actually, by accident. Like, for example, soap powder does it all the time. This is white, and this is this, and this is cleans white, and this cleans stupid. It's like, it's 20 different things of the same thing. And that's not always a good thing. So, for example, comics do it. Let me give you a great example. Wolverine. We got the Wolverine you're used to. Then we've got X-23, the female Wolverine. And then we have his son, the bisexual Wolverine. And then we have Old Man Wolverine. And then we have Sabretooth. And then we have Cyber. And then we have, let me see, what else can I think? Wild Child. And then we have, who else would be on that list? I think that's everybody. That's everybody. I mean, think about that. That's like 7 variations of the same character. And it just gets to a point where you're like, oh, dude, come on. You don't have to do that many copies of characters. There are more characters to do. Captain America. There have been 8 guys who've been Captain America. 8 guys have been Captain America. I mean, it's great that you want to be Captain America, and I'm sure your Captain America story is different than the original Captain America. But really, 8 versions of them? Spider-Man. What they're really doing is they're too afraid to take a chance on something. So they know, okay, we got to get diverse. We got to find a way to do diversity, but we don't know a good way to do it. So instead of doing that, we're going to take a character that everyone already knows, change the color or sex of the character, slap some new thing on them, and then go. And people who like the original character will like this one. And it's like, no, that's really not how it works. And I think this is one thing that always kind of offends me. It's the whole, we can slap anything on it and make the same character and people won't mind. And it's like, no, that's not the right attitude. The right attitude should be is, hey, I have a cool idea. I think this would work. Let's try this. Not, let's change the character. Okay, great example. The Justice League of America has never had a black character in the lineup initially in the book. In the 50 plus years they did it. Just never did. Wasn't an issue for them, and most likely an oversight. They didn't care. They weren't thinking. No big deal for them. Well, then DC decided to become more inclusive. So what the first thing they do is, like, okay, we got to find a black hero we can put in here. Now, the choice that I still think was the best choice, that made the most sense and was the easiest for people to digest, was John Stewart. John Stewart as Green Lantern made a lot of sense. Made a lot of sense to work very well in the book. Why he's different from Hal and some stuff. And even better, you don't even refer to him as a Green Lantern. You call him John Stewart. That's how crazy it is, It's a weird thing. It's like, he's still Green Lantern, but you don't call him the Black Green Lantern. You call him Hal, you call him John Stewart. You call him Hal Jordan. That's how they kind of differentiated themselves. And they gave them a little more well, Jeff Johns gave him a little more personality, I think. But once again, there are ways to handle that. And they could have done that. But instead of doing that, they took the other more popular character that I'd say is more popular, Cyborg, and put him into the Justice League. And I've always been a huge Titan fan. I watched and read Titans, during the Perez early years when him and Marv Wolfman took over the book. And that was an amazing book. Being a comic book fan in the early 80s was probably the best. You had them going on with that book. You had the X-Men going on, just four guys writing an awesome book about kind of like the outcast characters. And the Titans were outcasts. They were sidekicks. No one took sidekicks serious. So you had that going on. Dale, you call him Green Lantern. Then how do you make the difference between him, Hal Jordan, Alan Scott? There's so many Green Lanterns. It's so many Green Lanterns. They need better code names. They've always said they need better code names, or at least better costumes, at least. And then on top of that, let's not even get into the whole thing with Green Lantern. I'll talk about that in a second. But I'll talk about Teen Titans, and it's just. That book was a diverse book from the beginning. That book started off diverse and just got better and better. Well, let me rephrase that. Got better and better with the run that Marv Wolfman and George Perez did, all the way up to the end of the Judas Contract. That's still one of the, probably I'd say, the best runs in comic book history. It's definitely up there with X-Men. Perez and Wolfman did those issues. They did that annual, and that boom. And that to me was the bookend. That's how it should have ended. Yeah, you can't. Okay. See, Dale says they're all Green Lanterns. Yes, I know they're all Green Lanterns, but you don't need to call them all Green Lantern. Green Lantern, Green Lantern, Green Lantern, Green Lantern, Green Lantern. If I call it Green Lantern, everybody looks. You don't know who they're talking to. Hey, Green Lantern. Huh? What? Who? What? There you go. You need a name. Characters need names. Their own individual name. It's like being Junior. Oh, God. I'm Lewis Porter Jr. My father's Lewis Porter. People call Lewis. My father and I both look now. That will drive you crazy. That's why. You need your own name. I guess maybe that's a Junior thing, but everybody needs their own name. And this ties in back to, creativity. A lot of people are excited about all the stuff going on with Marvel. Marvel's gone diversity crazy is the best way I'm calling it. They're putting everyone has to come back and has to be diverse and it gets to a point of it's like, where's the story? I don't need a character to be diverse if there's no good story behind them. Making the Falcon Captain America was one of those moves that I could never understand. See, Dale McCall Jr. Dale, you get it. Everybody needs their own name. I never quite understood why they made Sam the Falcon. It's like they could have made the Sam the Falcon years and years and years and years ago, but doing it kind of never made sense to me. It's like the Falcon's a Falcon and Cap's Cap. Now, what I do like is that on the Falcon's book, you may call him the Falcon. On Sam's book, they have a new Falcon, and they have a new Captain America, new Falcon. I think that's kind of cool. You can play that whole little game for a while too. That can be interesting. But that is kind of one of those rare extremes. And even then, I'm not happy with Falcon being a new guy and the original Falcon being Cap. But I get the need for it. It makes sense. You want to do the, new guy, young guy dynamic, which is, that played very well for Captain Falcon when they originally did it. So why not do it in the book for the update? I get it. I understand fundamentally behind it. I don't always agree with it, but I do get it. I can run over here. So I just think a lot of people need to really start breaking out of the shells. All right, like another one, one of my personal favorite ones. Oh, yes, Scott. We're talking about comics. Of course, this also ties into RPGs, but definitely with comics, I always that's the first line of where you see a kind of quick changes like that happen. I think that because comic books are so monthly, you get the changes very quickly. Plus, it's easier to get more diversity out of comics quicker. I mean, comic books are really about. I mean, look at the X-Men. The X-Men was probably one of the most diverse books for a long, long time. And they've had characters that did very well. Storm is probably I'd say the most popular black. Actually, that's a good question. Is Storm the most popular black superhero? Now, before Civil War, I would say yes. Storm would probably be the most popular one, easily hand down. Now with the Black Panther, and now getting amazing props in Civil War, that may not be anymore. But Storm is definitely one of those kind of characters that have done very well. Storm as a character for the X-Men has always done well. I didn't like her getting married to the Black Panther. I thought that was a silly thing, but whatever. I'll let that slide. No love for Al Simmons and Spawn. I always thought the idea was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I like the idea of Al Simmons coming back as a white guy. I thought we could run pretty well with it. This could be, you could talk about a lot of cool issues of racism in a very different way. But they never tackled any of that kind of stuff. That's why I was always like, what a great wasted opportunity. Because that's the other thing. It's like you get guys who write books that are like extremely powerful, very influential, and they have opportunities to do really cool stuff, and then they don't do it. Let me give you a great example. Jon Stewart, not to mention Static Shock was a great book. Let's just call it Static Shock was different because Static Shock was different. They always, Milestone was a good idea from the get-go. What the fuck did I step on? Sorry for swearing, but I stepped on something. I'm not sure what it was. Milestone definitely was the first attempt at doing real diversity in real comics. And I even think they went too far. I think they went too far on the other side. You need to have a fair balance. I believe in a fair balance of people, ethnic groups, a little bit of everything. I still think, Milestone had a lot of great books that are just amazingly interesting. And they really did some great diversity stuff, yes. Dwayne McDuffie was a great writer. Anybody sees, there's a couple of videos if you want to see something that's disturbingly scary Dwayne McDuffie talks about being a black writer writing for books, and then what happens if you have, it's because of the law of threes, which was disturbing but true. If you put 3 black characters into anything, it becomes a black whatever. Hey, you put 3 black guys on any kind of TV show, it becomes a black show. 1 black guy on a show, 2 blacks on a show, 3 black show. I can't think of many shows that are not considered to be black shows that have 3 black guys on them. I can't think of. I'm thinking now. I'm like, okay, 3 black guys in a show. Well, you got a cast of 7 people. That's like nearly 50% of the cast. There aren't many shows like that. I think The Wire. The Wire is definitely. I think people consider it to be a black show. Yeah, Scott. It's kind of disturbing. Go on YouTube if you guys get a chance. Go on YouTube, check out, type in Dwayne McDuffie. He has a couple interviews he did. Very fascinating, just on race and that kind of stuff. So this is where we're at with this. So, I'm talking about the race part. I'm not talking about the women part. I think women have it in a weirder sense, harder. Even though they're 50% of the population, comic books have always been the boy male fantasies, and I guess in the last 10, 15, 20 years, they started to cross over to do different stuff and add more women into the writing. Tracy, I said Cyborg about 5 minutes ago. Okay, I do have a lot of love for Miles Morales. I think it's a good idea. I just have the problem that Miles Morales falls into the worst possible superhero to fall after. Peter Parker is the epitome of the nerd turned superhero. And now we're going to play the 21st century version of it. And there really isn't, a variation of it. It's like, we can all understand the nerd gets powers, it gets to wear the costume, like that. And Miles is kind of that same kind of kid. It's like, and even Static falls from that same kind of kid. So it's interesting things you can tell with those stories, but once again, it's a trope. It's a trope that's been used. It's a trope that people like. It's a trope that people understand. So I get it, but do we have to stick to those tropes? Let's do some unusually different tropes. Let's go with something that people wouldn't expect as a trope, or take a trope that we know and then flip it on its head. It's very much. you, I mean, okay, here's a question. If Batman was black, would that affect the book? Now, some people would be like, no, of course not. Of course not. I'm like, you sure? You sure it wouldn't? You sure? And you go, okay. If Batman was female, how would that affect the book? Ooh, oh. And those are some issues you got to ask yourself. What's more important, the character or the sexual orientation or the sex of the character? What's important? Is it the story that's driving it, or is it the stuff around the story that's driving it? Yeah, Scott, you are correct. It's like there's so many cool ideas to do stuff. I just get very, I don't say upset, but it's not even like upset. It's more like another missed opportunity, another missed opportunity, another missed opportunity. It's like, come on, man, let's. We got these great opportunities to do great stuff. Why aren't we pushing ourselves to do better stuff? But let's be honest. The big companies aren't going to do big stuff. DC is not going to ever kill off Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman. That's their cash cow. It makes them money. I get it. That being said, how about we evolve the characters past their 1930s, 1920s, 1940s roots? I mean, we keep going back to stuff. I mean, Captain America is a great idea, and it works very well, except when you start thinking about World War II. It's like, okay, Cap was alive in World War II. Okay, so he's probably in his 18s. World War II started, let's say, in 38 is when it started, but let's figure 40s is when he really got involved. So he's probably born roughly 1922. So now Captain America is nearly 100 years old. It's like, oh. And you start doing that kind of thing. It's like when you make the connection of the time period these things were built. Yeah, it is definitely called the Urban effect. It's a problem. It's where, okay. And I'll give DC credit where credit is due. When DC did Batman Beyond, they knew this was going to be an issue. They also figured, okay, here's the new version of Batman. Now, what made his character a little different? Yes, the father was killed, not the entire family. Still had the mother there. Hold on, Dale's written, actually, I'm trying to read Dale's comments after I'm doing that. I think a super rich black female that beats up on bad guys, I don't see that would change the story. I think super rich overrides the black and the female part. Oh! But I'm white and male, so I don't understand these things. Okay, Dale, good question. Good question. Being black, I think there's always some, there's some, from my perspective, there is always some twinge of racism sometimes. Not all the times, but sometimes. How things are portrayed, how people say things, how certain things go on, and some of it isn't real, some of it's fake, some of it's my perception, but then sometimes it's actually real. The problem is, you don't always know what it is. People are like, oh, you're playing the race card. I'm not playing cards, this is the color of my skin. People react negatively to me, I've seen it happen. So that's not me saying things that like, oh, it doesn't happen, but it's also happened to people who are Jewish. It's also happened to people who are Indian. It happens to people who are from the Middle East. People of color, which I think is another weird term, saying whites have no color, we have all the color. I don't understand how that works either, but whatever. It's not all in our heads. Some of it is. Don't get me wrong. I've been wrong in situations where I was like, wow, I didn't see that one coming. But I think once people really understand, people, we really talk about people, understanding people, I think we get a better look at things. I just see it, and I still haven't talked about the women thing. That was, once again, it's so hard to get on these subjects because, there's so many men talking about this, and black men, white men, trying to get women involved. That's something I want to do from day one. I've just said I want to get more women involved in gaming. I like gaming. That's why I do. Comic books the same way. I think if you tell the story that people want to read, that makes it interesting. Give Congressman power. Once again, I think people like cool things. Oh, my coworker Joyce is coming out, and it's hot. We're gonna see. Yes, I see you. I'm waving to you, and I'm talking in my thing too. So yeah, I think it's really about getting people interested in the topic. Look, here's a great example. Joyce over here. Joyce, who works with me, first of all, let me describe my marketing group. Okay, there's many things I say about my marketing group. Diversity is definitely the number one thing. On our marketing group, there's only 6 people. There are 3 men and 3 women in the marketing department. Yeah, okay, good answer. Just shake your head. One of them is Jewish, one is Filipino, one is Jamaican, one is Haitian, one is African American, and one is, I'd say, okey doke white guy from Ohio. So there you go. Out of the group, one is gay, three are married, one is widowed, one I assume is straight. You never know. You can't assume a lot of things. You know, God, I'm hot. I'm sitting on a, you walking right now, I see?
I'm just warming up.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot out here. I mean, as diversity goes, we're pretty, I mean, geez. All different ages. Well, our youngest age is in the 30s. There's probably, you know, some people get younger, but, you know, all different ages.
The boss is the youngest.
Yes, the boss is the youngest. He's, what, 33. And, like, what, I'm going to be 46 this year. Joyce is going to be, like, basically dead this year.
Oh, stop.
So, you know, it's a lot of diversity. So I think diversity is a good thing. It helps give you different ideas from different perspectives. Yeah, it can be kind of a handful, and it can be kind of crazy, but it's the best thing to do, personally. I like that. And I think that's the same way it works with comics. It works with games. You know, once again, to go back to, let me see what here. Mere gaming designed to draw women in. A good start would be make more political intrigue. Yeah, Robin is definitely right. I think more games with more political intrigue would attract women. I know for Neo Exodus, we did a lot of that. And I can say we did a high amount of women who were interested by telling it. I think it also helped that, you know, we had, you know, out of the 5 major groups, 4 women were running them for them. So I think there's stuff like that. I think you can do the non-traditional stuff and get people interested. Man, it is hot out here. Diversity in gaming is all. Yeah, you know, Scott, I think you're right. I think there needs to be more diversity. I mean, look, this is going to sound horrible when I say this, so people understand this. I've seen a lot of diversity panels. When they use the word diversity, they don't mean color. I mean, I've seen diversity panels with all white guys on it and white women. I'm like, well, that's not very diverse to me. But, you know, hey, sexual orientation, you know, that was another thing. Male, female. But, you know, it's hard. It's hard to do diversity because, you know, anybody. But you find some way to make what doing inclusive and not exclusive. All right, I'm getting out of the sun. My coworker Joyce, who's like frying, you're frying. I'm not gonna fry. I'm already tan enough. All right, I'll talk to you all tomorrow. You can talk amongst yourselves about this. I'm sure we'll have some more videos about this. Oh, great! I gotta open the door again. Ugh, hate this door. Ugh. And now I'm in the cool air. Ah, that's what I like to feel. All right, everybody, have a lovely day. See, my boss is not working today, so I'm sick. One of my coworkers snuck in. Oh.
You could fly up to the cloud and you could make it rain in with a chance of meatballs.
Hey, Nicole.
No, I'm not looking at Porter and his video right now.
I love getting Nicole in the video.